multiculturality of staff and students outside the university. The Hague University has 21,300 students and 1,700 staff members, coming from only 35 different nationalities. That makes the university the most multicultural in the Netherlands. Fair enough, but how does the multicultural environment influence the staff and students? To try to find this out, we made a few interviews and we distributed the survey to 30 students.
Yes, I'm very satisfied because I also want to work in a multicultural environment later.
Yeah, I'm satisfied with the multicultural environment and I like life in The Hague.
I heard many prejudices regarding to different nationalities, but it wasn't related to mine, so I wasn't affected by it. Well, I think the group work, because I realized that many students here, and I don't want to name any nationalities now, but they're not that really good in the English language.
Oh yeah, we also have problem with communication, so we should improve our English.
Yes, I think so, because every time on the ICM floor at the ICM office, the teachers are communicating in English together, even though both parties are Dutch. All the students here, they have other backgrounds and cultures and norms, and they sometimes may perceive things differently than other students when they're from Europe.
Why did you choose to work in an international environment such as the Hague University?
Back then it was not very international. I applied for the job because I needed the money. But once I had it, when I saw what she was going to do, I got really enthusiastic, because it was very much about my reality of where I was studying as well. And maybe that relates to the other question, because I studied in a very international environment in The Hague, but basically with people from Africa, Asia, Latin America. So, but it was not really international. We were mostly Dutch students. Erasmus students started to arrive a little bit there were not so many at the beginning, so it was gradually so. And actually, I applied.
Did you notice the growth sometime?
Here in the Hague University, of course, yeah. Because after that, shortly after that, they opened the English stream studies, and then that really gave a very critical boost to the internationalization of our academy. But what changed in the multicultural environment is basically the amount of the diversity of students, but also the amount of students that come from everywhere. And I think you see the changes with European Union opening up to new countries. You see more students coming from the eastern part of Europe. You see that when China opens, up, then you see far more Chinese increasingly, being part of this environment. So what I have been observing is that every time there is a shift, in opening up borders, whatever economic borders or physical borders, then you see that this reflects, somehow in the amount of students that are coming and where they're coming from.
Yeah. Do you notice any issues students could have regarding to the internationality of the
Yeah, there's language issues, sometimes there's prejudice, misunderstanding, fights. There's always a couple of people in a group that are not happy with how a Chinese student is performing, or the Spanish students are performing, or maybe some other students find, I don't know, the Dutch students are too dominant, because they're too direct. So all these things, have explanations that if you put them in a positive framework, they can enrich the way you learn about these things. So,
what impacts do the multicultural environment have on you?
I think it excites me a lot, because I always think, I always see things happening that, the theories that I know or that you have to learn. There are really examples every day, everywhere, at school, outside of school. So I always record these examples and I always bring them to class, and I always think, oh my God, I have to tell the story. So it's always in my system. It's not like an impact; it's already part of me, and I'm always reading things about it, just because I find it fascinating, and I love to be part of that.
Yeah. Did you choose to work in such an international organization?
Well, I mean, in a way, I sort of rolled into it. I started working for prep school first, so it's preparing mostly Chinese students to do an IELTS exam and then move on to a different program in university. And then ICM started, and I was just really excited to also work in the starting program, so you're able to really shape it. So, I mean, what attracted me is exactly that, the international environment. Seeing people from so many different countries.
Okay. What makes teaching in such an international environment easy or difficult?
Well, in a way, I wouldn't really. I mean, it can be easy and difficult. In one way, I think it's quite difficult because people have different expectations, also different ways of being. They are used to different ways of education sometimes, so it's hard to accommodate for everyone. Sometimes it's just, you can't do it exactly in the way that everyone would expect it because they all expect something else. On the other hand, I also find it easy because many people come from a foreign country already, and they're all in the same situation, that they are in a new country where they don't know people that well. So they all come together to get to know new things, and that makes it quite easy.
Do you notice any issues students could have regarding the multicultural within the community?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I think, especially in group work, it can be quite hard because you have different approaches. People have different approaches, but especially when those people have a different cultural background, conflicts can occur. And I do see that arising quite often. So again, people have different expectations, they have different ways of working.
Are there any drawbacks or anything which influences your work negatively?
Well, not in terms of the international environment, no, I wouldn't say so.
Okay.
I think it's all, it suits me quite well.
So there aren't issues which interrupt you from working successfully?
No, not really. I don't think that it's, I mean, of course there are challenges, but that's also one of the things I like about that international environment. That, so many different kinds of people come together, and then of course you'll have some issues, some problems sometimes, but it doesn't really influence me that negatively because I like solving problems, so it's a good thing.
What impacts do the multicultural environment have on you personally?
On me personally? Well, I think I've learned a lot, about different cultures and about different habits of people. I learn every day. So that's the good thing about it. I don't just teach every day, I also learn from my students, and especially because they come from such different backgrounds, it's just really has a really positive influence on me personally as well. So.